Now we can create a navbar. If you go into the Bootstrap documentation, their components, we are using the version 4.0, and if you go into the navbar, you can see here we can use this code, but we don't have to use all of that because we don't want to make something like this. So in order to make a simpler one, we need to create a nav which is going to act as a container and an unordered list, and then a list. Let's give it a name, let's call it contact. Next we need to give it class of, now these classes are predefined, you can't give it names of your own. And for this we are going to navbar dash nav. For the list, its predefined class is nav dash add a link here, and let's see here in the link tag we need to add something like this: a tag class of nav dash link. Next href, let's leave it empty, and let's give it a text of contact. Now we need to copy it and add like 3, let's call it download, let's call it about, and if we run this, we need to make the navbar look like horizontally, not vertically. So what we can do is, as you see here, there is the navbar expand. So what we are going to do is, in the navbar dash expand dash large. Now if I run it, we switch to a larger display, it shows something horizontally, and if we switch to something like a smartphone, it shows this. But later we are going to make a menu for it to work. And next we can give our navbar a color. So in order to do that, we need to add another class of navbar dash light. Now if you run, as you can see, it's kind of light color and something like this. So in order to give it a different color, you can also add a background color for background light. if we run, it's going to show this. If you can see this light background, now you can give it many different colors. If we go into the buttons, you can see here many different colors. Now we have given it light color. If you want to give it, let's say, red or yellow, let's call it danger, and see, now kind of looks more beautiful. And another color we can add is the warning color. Next, what if you want to add a brand name or a brand image like this one, so it looks more professional? We can use an tag like this one. Since we already have the class created, we can add above the unordered list. We need to add an tag, give it a class of navbar dash brand, and for the href, let's leave it empty as usual. Let's close it, and here you can put your brand name. Let's call it big circle as an example. And if we play, as you can see here, it shows our brand name. Next, we don't want these buttons to be here if we move to a bigger screen. Instead, we want them right here. So in order to do that, we need to see, so this is the container for these three buttons. So here we need to add a class called R2. Now if we play, see the buttons have moved on the right side. We switch to a smaller mobile screen. We don't want these on top of each other. We need to create a menu here. So in order to create a menu, as you can see, if you go to the navbar, to the toggler, here we need to just straight away copy this button, and after copying, just paste it below this first navbar. Now after copying the code, you can see that it's targeting the navbar toggler, some sort of ID. So it's not going to work unless we add an ID like this there. So in order to do that, we need to create a new div above the unordered list to contain all of this in the hamburger menu. So let's div, and we don't need the closing tag here. Let's give it class of collapse navbar dash collapse. Next, we need to make the menu work, and to make it work, because we need to target this ID, we need to add this ID right here and copy it and paste it in the div. And if we paste, now don't forget to close this div, and to close it, add div. Now if you play it, it shows a menu right here. We move to bigger screen, it expands. We move to a smaller screen, it shows a menu.